Hey everybody, welcome to a very special episode of Always Bored Never Boring. As I am sure some of you will have already noticed, we have just reached another incredible milestone here on the channel. This week we broke 15,000 subscribers, which is absolutely huge. I say this every time we reach a milestone and it's always true. I never imagined the channel would get to this scale. I always wanted it to, but it always seemed like something that would be beyond my grasp. And so, first of all, once again, I have to say thank you to all of you. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed, but also thank you to everyone who watches, likes, comments and shares. Every interaction only helps the channel to get bigger and bigger, and while I am amazed and immensely proud to have reached this point, I don't want to stop. I would love to keep this train rolling, and that's only going to be possible with your help. Now, when I make one of these videos, often I will talk about plans for the future of the channel, or I will talk about something I have done to treat myself for doing well. And while I have indeed treated myself to a gift, I have just purchased my first ever Shadows of Brimstone core set, it seemed about time, I wanted to do something a bit different today, because this video comes at a difficult time for me. So, I apologise if this is not what you were expecting to tune into, and I hope you will indulge me for a moment as I go through something a bit more personal. Those of you who subscribe to my community posts may have read that on October the 13th of this year, my dad passed away. He had been fighting cancer for over 11 years, and he had done it with all the grace, poise and dignity that it's possible to imagine one man could have. Half the time you wouldn't even know he was suffering. Here he is, play sword fighting with my little boy on holiday just over a month before he passed away. We knew how his battle would eventually end, but he was still undergoing treatment and we were expecting to have him in our lives for a few more years. Sadly, the strain became too much for his body, and ultimately we had the rug pulled out from under us as his huge heart gave out and he passed away suddenly. Now, my dad never really understood what I do here on the channel. He would always ask how things were going, or what I was working on, but always with a good deal of perplexed bewilderment that his son was making videos that people on this thing called the internet would watch, and those videos were about, of all things, board games. The last conversation I ever had with him was the night before he passed away. I showed him the ridiculous video I had made for Avalon Hill, where I ran around my garden being chased by my daughter wearing a goofy Halloween mask. He had never looked so confused, but also perhaps never so proud of me, watching me do something I love and involving my daughter who was clearly having the best time being silly. And after he had watched the video, he asked how many subscribers I had. He may not have understood what I do, but he understood numbers, and he was clearly pleased that I was so close to reaching 15,000 subscribers. I wish he could have still been here so I could tell him I made it in person, but this is the best I can do. So this video is for my dad, the man who never once made me feel like chasing a dream was stupid, the man who never once made me feel like I couldn't do anything I put my mind to. I have to say, he always said he didn't like board games. He liked games, he loved quiz shows, and here he is playing garden games with the family. You can see he's just won and is taking that victory with good grace. But board games? He would always say he didn't want to play because he didn't understand the rules. At family gatherings, particularly Christmas, I would always bring games and make him take part, and he would moan and grumble and say it was too complicated. But at the same time you would see the small grin creeping into the corner of his mouth as he looked at his cards, and then with a comment like, "Oh, I'll just do this because I don't know what else to do," he would present a winning hand, or make a winning move, or score more points than it seemed feasible to achieve. He always knew damn well what he was doing. I have always said that my hobby is a great help to me in difficult times, and while there are other, stronger memories of my dad and all the wonderful things he did in his life, those Christmas game nights with him keep coming back to my mind. When I first shared the news of my dad's death on my community page, I was overwhelmed by the response. So many people shared kind words or stories of their own loved ones who had sadly passed away. It was amazing to see so many people who don't know each other, coming together and just being good. I'm reminded of something I saw on the internet a while ago. It was a post that said, "If you want to live forever, make yourself difficult to forget. And the best way to do that is to be good." By that metric, my dad must be immortal. So, normally in one of these milestone videos, I will ask that you like and subscribe. and I'm certainly not going to dissuade you from doing so today. But here's something else you might like to do instead. Drop a comment below of your fondest memory of someone. Doesn't have to be your dad, doesn't have to be related to gaming, doesn't even have to be about someone who has passed away if that's too hard to think about. Just share a happy memory you have of someone being good. Let's immortalise as many people as we can. And I will see you all again soon. Thank you.